Okay, so we are looking at a practice problem for Chapter 4, which is all about balance sheet valuation of a company. All right, so for this problem, we are looking at Oxford Foundries Incorporated, which manufactures silicone chips for client companies. The firm's inventory consists of silicone chips in the process of being manufactured and complete chips awaiting delivery. Consider this additional information for the firm. All right, so then we're given how many shares outstanding, the price per share outstanding, given a little bit of a balance sheet information right here. We're not going to go through all that. We'll use it as we solve the problem. And then we're giving some additional information down here. So when I solve these problems and I see that we're going to be given a lot of numbers right here, I go ahead and write out each thing that's given on like a separate line on a scrap piece of paper. So if that's helpful to you, I suggest you do that. Everything that I would do on a scrap piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and do in Excel here, just so you guys can like follow along with what I'm saying. Okay, so as an awesome analyst, you estimate that the market value of Oxford Foundries inventory is $13.5 million. All right, so then I would go ahead and write down inventory 13.5, and then the market value of its PPE is 50% of its GAAP value. Okay, so PPE is 0.5, whatever its GAAP value is. And then you believe that the rest of Oxford Foundries assets as reported on the balance sheet are roughly equal to the market values. You estimate that Oxford's brand names could be sold for a total of $2.5 million. Okay, so then you have to count for the brand. It's also 2.5. And that's pretty much how it looked like on my scrap piece of paper. Just for like understanding it, we'll go ahead and put market value, because these are all market values right here. And then also right here, I'm going to say that this is all in millions. And then I'm going to go and figure out what 0.5 of GAAP is. So these are all assets. So we're going to go to the assets part of the balance sheet. All right, and find where it says PPE. Net PPE is $9 million. So then we're going to go change GAAP to 9, or hang on, put an equal sign there, and then 4.5. Okay, so this is our market value PPE. All right, and now I figured out what the heck they're telling us here. We'll go ahead and look at the question. So the first question, what is your estimate for the intrinsic or true value of Oxford Foundries to the owner? So intrinsic or true value. And we're looking for the intrinsic value of an entity. We're really looking for the market value of assets minus all liabilities. Okay, so now we have to figure out what the market value of assets are and what total liabilities are. All right, so market value of assets. How I would solve this problem is I would go ahead, since we don't have all that many assets that we're really looking at, we're only looking at, what, 6 lines here? I would go ahead and rewrite this on a scrap piece of paper. So I would go ahead and say, so this is GAAP, you can see that right here, and I would put market value right here, and then I would go ahead and just rewrite it for market value. I'm also going to just put this in millions, so I don't have to keep track of all the zeros. All right, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to look at all the special information, and then I'm just going to copy everything else over, because it says right here that you believe that the rest of the assets are reported as on the balance sheet. All right, so we're looking at inventory is 13.5, is worth 13.5. I don't know why that happened. 13.5. PPE, we figured out earlier, is 4.5, because that's 50% of what the balance sheet has. And then the brand name here. So brand name isn't even on here, so I'm going to make a note right here to myself. The brand name is worth 2.5 million. All right, and I'm just going to transfer everything else over. So cash, they still have cash on the balance sheet, exact market value of cash, 2.5 million. Accounts receivable, that stays the same. Land, valued at the same. And then total assets is just adding all this up. All right, so we'll go ahead and take the sum of all these. You don't have Excel, you just have to use a calculator. All right, and then we're given 13.4, but that's not the true total assets, right? Because Oxford Foundries can easily sell their brand name and get another 2.5 million for it. So we're gonna go ahead and add that to our total assets. So right here, we're gonna do 32.4 plus 2.5. All right, so that is our market value of assets. This is the GAAP value, this is the market value. In order to find the true value of equity, we use the market value of assets. We just found is 34.9. And then liabilities So what is the value of liabilities? Liabilities, no need to like figure out the market value for any of that. We look right here, it says 9.9, so that's what we're going to use. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take the sum of that. Again, this is how I would do it in Excel. Let's switch this up to the accounting way of looking at it. All right, and this is your true equity. All right, so next question, what does Mr. Market believe is the value of Oxford Foundry's equity? So Mr. Market is just what the market says value is. So for that, we're going to look at the shares outstanding and the price per share. So we're given all this information at the top of the balance sheet, right up here, shares outstanding, price per share. That's exactly what we need. All we need to do is just multiply those together. All right, so shares outstanding times price per share, just C5. And then this is, yeah, so that's what the market is valuing this at. And so we could say this is like roughly 20.5 million. Okay, so then based on our analysis, would purchasing shares of Oxford Foundries probably be a good investment? Yes or no, provide one reason. So to determine the answer to this question, we have to look at what we think the true value is and then what the market thinks the value is. All right, so we decided that the true value is 25 million and the market thinks that the value of the company is 20.5. So for that reason, the answer to this question is yes, it would definitely be a good investment. And the reason why is because intrinsic value is higher than the market's value. All right, and that is the question.